Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another episode of According to MzShellz. My name is MzShellz and I am the moderator for this lovely episode I have planned for you today. You know, on my channel we celebrate celebrate life's moment, and I believe that this is another moment that I wanted to celebrate with. We're on the end of the month of February, yes, moving into a new month of March, but I still wanted to proceed with this project that really fascinated me. Moments in Black history where different athletes, I wanted to highlight their impact on their sport or on society based on different issues that were going around, and the stance they took, or whatever momentous achievement they made as a Black person. And I wanted to highlight this in this episode today. So this is Black History Moments for Sports. Okay? All right. So I love sport. Anybody who knows me know that I love sports, and I grew up on track and field. So a couple of the persons you will see today are track and field athletes, namely this first person. This is Jesse Owens at the medal ceremony of 1936 Olympics. Here you see him saluting. He is basically giving a salute to Hitler. It was said that Hitler didn't like it kindly when he won, and as a result, he decided to make his salute, not only, I guess, to Hitler, but to show that he was above whatever discrimination anyone would want to put his way. So Jesse Owens is a long jumper and a sprinter who won 4 gold medals in the 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin, Germany. He was not acknowledged publicly by Hitler, as I said before. However, from my research, there was a lot of conversation about whether he was snubbed or not, whether Hitler acknowledged him or not. There's a movie centered around the whole experience with Jesse, and as a result, we know that he was a monumental. We know that he's a person of breaking records as he took his stand as a Black athlete in this particular Olympics. However, it is said by him that even if people would want to say that Hitler snubbed him, he said the thing about it was when he came back home to the US, he did not receive any congratulatory telegram. He was not given a invitation to the White House, as was the norm. He basically came back to the segregation in the South and was treated basically as though he wasn't an Olympian. As a matter of fact, on his return to the US, his amateur status was stripped. He was not able to benefit from any sponsorship, and so he had to take up odd end jobs like an everyday person. Not even I know he did an advertisement, but he wasn't even able to benefit from the sponsorship because they stripped him of his status when he returned to the US. The next person is Wint. Arthur Wint is a Jamaican Olympian from who was our first gold medalist ever as a sovereign nation, or as a sovereign, yes, as a nation. So I'm Jamaican born, and before even Usain Bolt, before any other Jamaican, I'm proud to say that this is our first Jamaican Olympian, and his name is Arthur Wint, and he won the 400-meter race in 1948 against his teammate Herb McKinley became second. And also wanted to note in his journey to the Olympics took many stops along the way, where he became he enlisted for World War II and joined the Royal Air Force, and was pretty much on and off the track and field circuit, because he was training at different times for the war. He did run different events, so he was known as an athlete. He also got the silver medal in the 800 meter, but didn't manage to get the medal in the 4x4 because he had a pull muscle. He was seen as an underdog, as a matter of fact, because Herb McKinley, as I said before, who was the person who came the second place winner, was the one that was more favored. However, from my research, it was noted that Herb was saying, hey, pay attention to him. You know what I'm saying? Arthur Wint is a viable opponent. Okay, so he entered this race as the underdog and became. There's a link in my description that shows you the race, and in that race, you're going to actually hear in the medal presentation, God Save the Queen. So we became an independent nation in 62. So in 1948, even though we entered under our own name, because we're still under the British rule, we the anthem that they played was the God Save the Queen anthem. So I found that really interesting. I was like, why am I not here in Jamaica land? And I was like, oh right, this is 1948. Yes indeed, yes indeed. All right, so moving on now. This is Tommy Smith and John Carlos. These two gentlemen ran at the Olympics in Mexico City. Tommy Smith got the gold, which is the man in the middle, and John Carlos got the bronze, which is the man behind him. So he's the third man, if we were to count from the front back. They ran the 200-meter race, and at the medal ceremony, they raised their black fist at the playing of the U.S. anthem. And basically, they were speaking about the injustices of the black Americans back home. They're focusing on black pride, poverty in the U.S. for the black people, and so they took their stance. So the plan was, during the medal ceremony at the Olympics, they were going to do this. However, the Australian competitor Peter Norman got wind of it, and even though, yes, he didn't have a glove to wear or whatever, he grabbed pretty much the the Olympic Project for Human Rights, OPHR. Those buttons were on his chest. Each one of them was wearing one, and so he grabbed one from another teammate of the other two men, so that he could basically be in solidarity with them. He was like, yes, I'm on board. I want to stand up in solidarity with you guys for this move that you're making. So the scarf around their necks represented black pride. The fact that they only had on socks and no shoes, it meant that they were reflecting on the black poverty in the US. Of course, when this whole thing happened, it was pretty much a shock across the Olympic world, and of course in the US. And so they were immediately suspended and told to leave the Olympic Village, leave the games altogether. Once all three got back to their respective countries, they were villainized. Of course, they still try to compete in athletic procedures, even for Peter Norman himself. And to make it matters worse, what Australia did was not send a men's team for the next Olympics that was coming up, just to make sure that Peter Norman, did not compete. So he was also affected by that move, even in his country, in the Down Under. They continued to speak out and stand up even when they returned to the US, Tommy Smith and John Carlos. And I believe just recently in 2018 they celebrated the 50th year anniversary of that stance that they took. Peter Norman passed on by in the early 2000s, and so what happened was that Tommy Smith and John Carlos were his pallbearers when they passed on. They stood with him all the way to the end. So these three men really made a move that got people's attention, and one of the things that the Olympic people were having issue with was the political nature of their stance, and that's one of their issues that they were having about it. Anyway, these guys decided to stand, and in interviews that followed and research that I've from my research, they still continue to stand, and they did not regret making that stance. And we thank them for their stance, their bravery, and the price that they have paid because of doing this. Oh, I must mention, all three men decided to, because the athletic thing, the track and field doors were closed, quote unquote, all three men, I believe, went on to do football. Yes, they were playing football after a while, once they were pretty much not allowed to run no more. Okay. Meet Muhammad Ali. Yes, sir. This is Muhammad Ali standing over his opponent, Mr. Liston. He changed his name in 1964. He was born Cassius Clay, changed his name to Muhammad Ali when he decided to join the Nation of Islam and become a Muslim, saying he wanted to get rid of his slave name, and he embraced that religion and basically spoke out. Everywhere he went, he spoke out for different reasons on different things. In 1966, he refused to be drafted for the Vietnam War. He was like, "These guys didn't do me anything. I live in this country and I'm facing segregation. The people in the South where I'm from is facing segregation. These guys he has a name for them. I don't want to mispronounce it. It's there in any form of research you will do. You see the name. These guys didn't do me anything. Why should I go and be in war with them?" And so basically, it cost him his prime years, cost him millions of dollars, and his title, he was stripped from his title. He was charged for 5 years. He spoke extensively against the war. The same OPHR, the Olympic Project for Human Rights, they also were fighting for his return to boxing. And so in 1971, after many appeals in the court, his case was overturned. It is known, he has many quotes, and one of the quotes that I found in my research is, "I am America. I'm the part you won't recognize, but get used to me. Black and confident, cocky. My name, not yours. My religion, not yours. My goals, my own. Get used to me." His last fight was in 1981. And I know that everybody knows that he has passed on, and God rest his soul, but he was tenacious even in his illness with the Parkinson's disease. He had that look in his eyes. You could tell that, hey, I am the champ, the greatest of all. And he was a part of the Olympic opening ceremony in, I believe, 1996, when he lit the Olympic flame, and that was my first time, I believe, seeing him in public. And even though, yes, the symptoms of his illness were showing, just seeing him and that look in his eyes, that tenaciousness still, I was still in awe, right? And I was like, yeah, it was just a pleasure just seeing him. I've not met him, but that was the closest I came to when I saw him in that 1996 Olympic opening ceremony. All right. Here we go to baseball. This is Jackie Robinson, number 42 in the building. All right, all right, all right. So he was the first colored or first black player in the National Major League first African American player to play Major League Baseball, in the modern era. He broke the baseball color line when the Brooklyn Dodgers signed him in 1947, ending racial segregation in professional baseball. We know he also had his struggles, and of course, there's a movie out playing him by the late Chadwick Boseman, sorry. And yes, you see the movie, yes, you read the article, but going through all that hate and all that situation where people boycotted the games or stuff like that is not something that someone can go through and still remain non-violent. And that's one of the things I found out about him in my presentation, in my research, is that he remained non-violent in his talk. Of course, I'm sure he would have his moments where he'd want to break, but he's kept speaking out against segregation, against the different things that black people are facing, where he started out in his journey. He played for 10 years and was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1962, in the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962. He was also the first black TV analyst in MLB. He continued to influence and the culture and speak, before he died, I'm talking, and spoke out against as I said, injustices, and contributed extensively to the human rights, civil rights of the black folk in that time. All right, so I wanted to also highlight the number 42 day. Okay, so in 1997, they retired his uniform right across. His number was retired right across MLB, right? And then there was an annual tradition that started where they wear the number 42 on the Jackie Robinson Day. All teams, all players wear number 42. I believe it started in April, but it was moved to August, I believe, recently. I think it had something to do with the fact that the game had to be delayed with COVID and so on, but it had moved to an August date. So I found that really cute and interesting, and as let me see, do they still do this? Yes, they still do it. They wear the number 42 regardless of the team, regardless of the player's position, in honor of Jackie Robinson, and that, I believe, is really awesome. All right, back to my country, and I'm about to embrace the females, the women that paved the way in sports. And believe you me, it's a whole lot of women. Meet our first female gold medalist in track and field in the Olympics. Her name is Dion Hemmings. I wanted to talk about Dion because I remember like yesterday when it happened. I was still back home. She's from Manchester, like myself, which is what we call a parish, or you can consider it a state. And it was like a national holiday when she won. I mean, everything dropped in Manchester. Nobody moved. Everybody was glued to the TV when she won the 400-meter hurdle in 1996. I'm telling you, it was just amazing. We had parades in. I mean, people were just driving around and just enjoying themselves. And so hold on a second, sorry, I believe we missed something here. All right, so basically she won the gold medal in Dion Hemmings on the previous slide, won the gold medal. And in front of you is Merlene Ottey. I cannot speak about our women as track and field athletes without mentioning Merlene Ottey. She was seen as the queen of the track. She was seen as the bronze queen. She was basically had a queen title, and one of the reasons for her being called the bronze queen because most of her medals were bronzes. There were opportunities for her to get close to like the gold and so on in 1996 when she by tenth of a second Gail Devers won the gold, and that was such a close call. I mean, we all thought, yes, she got the goal. Yes, she got the goal. But nope, she did not. And so I had to mention Merlene. She had not only tenacity, she not only had drive. I admired her because even in the face of obstacle, when all basically she was getting was bronze, she kept going, she kept pursuing it. Her work ethics was phenomenal, and she started, as I said before, as basically our first female English speaking Caribbean athlete. So yes, I mentioned Dion Hemmings, but you gotta mention Merlene. All right. So Merlene competed until the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, and based on my research, the indoor record that she set in 1993, as of 2014, it was still standing. I'm sure maybe by now it was been broken, but I just couldn't find anything to support that. So as a result, I only have as of 2014. That's where my research took me. Her career spanned over 30 years. During the 2000 Olympics, there was there was a situation where it was said that she took a banned substance, and there was a lot of stuff with her in the courts and suspensions and so on. And it is said that she didn't like how it was handled, I guess, from the Jamaicans' perspective in terms of the track and field people who deals with stuff like that. And so that was her last Olympics, running on the Jamaican flag in 2000. And she continued running, however, until maybe closer to mid 2000s, but under another country called Slovenia. She did, I think, 2 more Olympics or World Championships after that particular one in Sydney. But when you think about Merlene Ottey, you think about greatness, and she paved the way. I'm telling you for sure, even for Dion Hemmings, so a lot of the other female track and field runners that you would know from Jamaica, Merlene Ottey also helped to pave the way for them. Okay, my favorites. These two ladies, when they came on the scene, Venus and Serena Williams, they had me for sure, for sure. I was not even a tennis fan when they came, but just the melanin, just their drive, just the way they looked on the court had me glued to the tennis games when they would play. And I always, and that's why I'm using this picture as the next picture for them. Hold on a second. This one with their beads, I always love the beads, the different colors. And one of the things I really admired about them was their support, which is in the form of their father and their mother. You would always see them in the stands, especially when they were younger, coming up. And even now, as they are, I guess, more or less managing their own careers, that drive is still in them. That drive is still in them. And so There's so many awards and titles between these two. It is just so unbelievable. So between the two ladies are 30 Grand Slam singles titles. When I did the math, it was, I had to just put it like that. I had to make it a bang statement about it. And so these ladies between 2001 US Open to 2017 Australian Open, they met in 9 Grand Slam finals. I remember when they both were playing each other. I had to watch those games. I didn't understand much of tennis, but just seeing their vibe and their flow and their tenacity, you know, on the field and on the court. And then they would turn around and play doubles. And I'm like watching them playing each other, and one, you know, Serena winning over Venus or vice versa. And I'm like, look at them go. I was excited. Okay, they became two first players, male or female, to meet in 4 consecutive Grand Slam singles finals from 2002 French Open to 2003 Australian Open. All right, and as I said before, their parents are their coaches as in their early training and so on and so forth. I also wanted to say that recently Serena lost to Naomi Osaka on February 18th at that Grand Slam in the Australian Open. And of course, a lot of people are saying, is it the end? Is she was waving to people and people, her teary-eyed interview, people were saying, is it the end? I don't think it is the end. I believe she will come back and play, but it's just, I guess at that point she felt, that's just my opinion, looking back and thinking about, you know, her journey, I'm sure it would make anybody teary-eyed. But for me, I just see it as a passing of the guy, because Naomi Osaka, another black player, she would be seen as their idols. Serena and Venus would have been someone that she, when she was younger, would look up to the both of them. So it's just like a passing of the guy. That's just my opinion. I also wanted to highlight that Venus has a clothing line called 11, and it's not just tennis stuff. It's stuff that you could wear on the court or off the court, whether you're in yoga, whether you're in, you know, athletics in terms of, you know, running or jogging. It's a lovely line. It's not, I'm in no way benefiting from promoting her clothing line, but I've wanted to mention it because I'm focusing on these lovely ladies. So 11, check it out, y'all. I was fascinated by the outfits. I'm like, I gotta go and go back and buy something. All right, we're moving on to swimming. I loved swimming. I wouldn't consider myself the best swimmer, but I used to always enjoy watching it, especially Olympics time. I try to catch anything I wouldn't watch on a normal basis, and the swimming and the diving and the synchronized swim was one of those events that I will follow. And so when I went doing my research, I came across this lovely young lady in front of us, Enith Brigitha. She is from Curacao and was the first black swimmer that paved the way for many other female swimmers over the years. She's what you would consider the start of black excellence in swimming. She's from the island of Curacao, and in the 70s she basically dominated the swim world. She competed in the 1972 and 76 Olympic Games and won 2 bronze medals in the 76. Excuse me. Sorry, she won 2 bronze medals in the 76 game, and also becoming the first African woman to win Olympic medals in swimming. She swam in the era when the women of East Germany dominated every race through their system doping. And of course, growing up, I would see events, not only swimming, where you could tell that the different competitors were on some form of doping situations going on, and the other athletes having to come far below because of whatever the person influenced the other athletes were under. But she kept doing her thing, and she pursuing her swimming, and was excellent at what she did. And you can imagine how many goals she would have maybe missed out on because of these circumstances, but she kept going. She was inducted into the International Swimming Hall of Fame in 2015. All right, it is known that she got a silver medal and 2 bronze medals in different world championships between 1973 to 1975. She held 5 world records during that whole time of her swimming and so on. Of course, we know that the fact that she did her thing, she also can be credited for paving the way for future swimmers. The different ladies, some of the names are slipping me now, but when I do my research, the names kept coming up. Those ladies that are breaking records and doing it phenomenally well on the international and local scenes and different countries. Because even from my country, Jamaica, we had a couple of swimmers too that were doing their thing. Again, their names have now slipped me, but still also want to highlight the fact that she paved the way for all these different black female swimmers that we see out on the different events and championships. All right, so gymnastics. I've never done it in my life. However, this is also one of my things that I look forward to when it's Olympics time. I always want to see what's going on in gymnastics. I'm a dancer, and so I was always attracted to it. I guess like when they do the floor exercise and the ones with the ribbons and the twirls, and so I thought that I wanted to highlight the black gymnasts on my presentation today. So this is a clip I got from the Wendy Hilliard Gymnastics Foundation. This list are different gymnasts over the period of time, whether male or female. This one is male or female, whether they were first in something or they held a particular record, starting from the first black male gymnast right down to more present persons like the Simone Biles that broke a lot of records in the, I believe it was the 2016 Olympics. Yes, but this is the list that represents everybody in gymnastics that held a first thing or break some records. So I wanted to highlight and credit the source, Wendy Hilliard Gymnastics Foundation. Lovely website, lovely spot for research. Okay, so meet Lucy Collins. She was our first black female to make the Olympics team in 1980. She was 16 years old, pretty much in her prime. However, she did not perform in that particular Olympics because the U.S. decided to boycott the Olympics that particular year. And it was centered around some war infractions and the invasion of Afghanistan and other things that was going on at that time. And based on the fact that it was going to be in Russia, the US felt that they wanted to boycott the Olympics, and hence that entire team, including Lucy, was not able to perform. Of course, even though she was not able to perform on that great stage, she still was able to do, excuse me, make her accomplishments as a gymnast over the years of her time of doing gymnastics. Of course, also recently they were all honored. The 1980 team, who never got a chance to perform, they were honored, I believe, in the 2016 Olympics. But pretty recently, they were honored for mention was made of them, and they were given some honorarium and so on. So she was our first black female gymnast, Lucy Collins. Dominic Dawes. No, I was always fascinated with Dominic. Dominic was our first black gymnast to have attended and medaled at 3 Olympics: 92, 96, 2000. I remember I was just looking out for her for the different events, and just her drive, her swag. And I'm like, I was always just in awe of her, and a fan. I was a total fan of Dominic. Dominic was to be the first American gymnast to have medaled at in 3 different Olympic teams. She's the first black female gymnast to win an individual Olympic medal, which is in 1996 she won a bronze, and in 1994 she attended the US Championships and medaled in those events as well. She was such a phenomenon individual, and she supports young gymnast clubs, and what do you call it, mentor young gymnasts coming up in over the years. She's credited for doing that, and we just wanted to just highlight her as one of those persons who paved the way for gymnasts who are coming up now. Meet Simone Biles. Simone. What can we say about Simone? Her name just stands out. She broke any record and every record that was ever established in this one Olympics in 2016. She's the only American gymnast, male or female, with the most gold medals won at a single event. The most decorated American gymnast in history. 19 Olympic and World Championships award. This girl, I remember that particular year just seeing glimpses. I think that's the first Olympics that I didn't really get a chance to sit and watch. And when I did my research, I'm like, wow, this girl really, really took the stage by storm. And I'm really so proud and excited about her. I'm looking forward to see how else and what else she's going to be doing in the seasons to come, in the different years to come. I'm hoping that she'll perform this year in the Olympics, and we're hoping to see great things from her. Great things. All right, girl on fire, Gabby, girl on fire. She is another phenomenon black gymnast. Took the stage in 2012 and claimed the Olympic medal in the all-round competition. There was a song made about her. There was so much excitement about her when she did her thing in London, and I was just truly impressed with her. Girl on fire, that's what I call her, because that was just when the Hunger Games was going on, and her song from Alicia Keys, and they used to use her, and yeah, girl on fire, that's what I call her. All right, she received a silver medal in the all-round at the 2015 World Championships. She followed up this performance by being a part of the final 5 in the Olympics in 2016, where they won a team gold medal. And it was said that the fact that she was able to do a comeback performance that spoke to her drive and her tenacity as a gymnast and as an athlete, because doing that back-to-back World Championships and a second Olympics in 2016, even coming from that 2012 Olympics, it's a rare thing where it is said that the gymnast, I guess, or maybe even an athlete, can come back and perform at that same level of excellence. So it is to be commended. She She's known by her first name, Gabby. So it's rare. It's it's something great about this athlete when they are called by their first name. And as I said before, she opened the door and inspired so many too. As I said, for me, she's my girl on fire. All right, her win along with the Olympic win, along with her world championship, coming back from her world championship to another Olympics, resonates to how strong she is as an athlete, as I said before. And that concludes my whole Black History moment on sports. Please like this video, share it with your friends, spread the word that I did a Black History moment for sports on my channel. As I said, we celebrate life moments, and I wanted to take the time to celebrate with these Black athletes. Here you see listed on my page all the different sources I wanted to credit. I definitely did not want to take any of this credit for myself. I'm thankful for all of these sources that provided information for my presentation today. I trust that you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget again to subscribe where you get to be on top of all my different videos celebrating life moments. It is a pleasure to be here with you today, and this was According to MzShellz. Do have a great evening. God bless. Bye.